Greetings, all you maniacs of minds on crimes, and welcome back to yet another installment of Talkin Fiction. It's been a really long time since I've done one of these. It's just because I couldn't really find anything to really talk about, but then I was like, wait a second, the Dutch Angel Dragons. They have to have lore, right? And oh boy, they do. There's quite a bit. It's not complete, but I will leave a link to the Dutch Angel Dragons website with all the lore in the description so you can go over it yourself. There's quite a bit there, nowhere near as much as the Villas universe, but that's kind of a high bar because the Villas universe basically has like 3 novels of lore to it, which is good. More lore is always good, especially when it's well written like the Villas universe is. So the Dutch Angel Dragons, or some people might call them the Dutchies, what exactly are these guys? Well, the Dutch Angel Dragons are angel dragons that are effectively angelic-like beings. Now, Dutch doesn't have anything to do with anything Dutch at all. It's just that the name Dutch has significant meaning to the creator of the species because that was her horse that she loved very, very much and, tragically eventually died, and was kind of just sort of the birthplace of the Dutch Angel Dragons. Anyway, the Dutch Angel Dragons, like I said, are angelic-like beings that have the sort of traits of sort of angelic dragon horse-esque. You look at a few pictures of them, you're like, okay, I get it. I can see where this is going. So their world has quite a few different things going on about it. So let me summarize. There are realms that are in the universe of this, and it even says on here there's probably more that we have not discovered yet, and that's very, very possible. So the first realm, the highest realm, will go from highest to lowest. Paradise. This is the highest realm, a place where it is positive and eternal. All souls can be at peace, and a collection of ancient entities oversees the realm and ensures that balance is maintained, weaving chaos into order. So it's basically heaven. This is basically what you'd expect from a heavenly realm where all souls go to and be at peace for eternity, and just 100% good vibes, basically. It's perfect. So the next realm is the Aether. I'm just going to say Ether. The mystical realm interwoven with the physical world, but exists on a higher dimensional plane, a place where supernatural beings reside. So basically how the wiki describes it as, Ether is basically when we hear reports of ghost sightings. I've seen a lot myself. I'm a big believer in the paranormal. I've seen it. And other odd, like, that doesn't belong sort of thing. That's the ether blending into our world, and you might have seen a Dutchie and you never would have known because they can change their shape however they want. They're shapeshifters, somewhat, especially in their own realm. Anyway, then we have Terra, which is our world, our universe. Our entire universe is Terra. It's not just the Earth, it's everything and everything in the normal universe that we reside in, the normal 4-dimensional universe that we reside in. 3 of space, 1 of time, you get it. So it's basically just our universe. You look up at the sky, that's Terra. Ether is above that. And then we have the Abyss. This is basically hell, but not like pits of fire or cold that will snap your soul. There are some depictions of hell out there, Nordic hell, that is just completely frozen over. It's super cool. Would recommend reading up on that. It's awesome. Nordic lore's cool. Anyway, this realm is nothing but negative energy. It is the exact opposite of paradise, where paradise is it's perfect. Paradise is beauty. The Abyss is literally negative. Just 100% dark, negative, souls cannot rest. It is hell. It is absolute hell, but not in a fiery or icy sort of way, in more of a everything is pure negative emotions, and you will never feel peace, you'll never feel happy. It's basically depression on roids. That is an entire realm of its own, and that is kind of nuts. That's pretty damn scary. And there are Dutch angel dragons that exist in the abyss, and they are not friendly. I will get to them in a bit. So there is, of course, a bit of a story going on. So like, something happened with the duchies. So basically, they were residents of paradise. They were guardians. They were set to, do tasks and keep the peace, and guardians of, a lot of different things, including the ether and terra. But then there was some kind of conflict, and this just huge amount of negative emotions pretty much made the abyss, and the duchies were forced out, kicked out of paradise and put into the ether. Some of them went all the way down into the abyss because they couldn't handle what they've done. They were stricken with guilt. These are very emotional creatures. These are creatures that get attached to things really, really fast. They are very, very in tune with emotions and spiritual energies. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to make a Star Wars comparison here. Remember when Obi-Wan felt Alderaan explode? Yeah, that's basically what the duchies felt when the whole conflict was over, or during the conflict, and those ones that couldn't handle it turned into abyssal Dutch angel dragons. You can't even really call them angels anymore because they are the exact opposite of what a normal Dutch angel dragon is. I'm going to call them duchies. Anyway, yeah, this war absolutely just tore everything apart, and the only Dutch angel dragon, well, I think there's exceptions, the main one, Telephone, the main one that has been the first of her kind, really, not in lore, but she's the only one with a ring around her muzzle. The others, that has been stripped from them, and yeah, so there was a big war, things got bad, and the duchies just sort of got kicked out, and some of them fell completely into the abyss. Others are now residing in the ether, and some, I do believe, live on Terra or visit Terra very often. And it even said in the lore, they can often take the appearance of a horse to see Terra closer up. Okay? Anyway, that is a very brief description of the Dutch Angel Dragons. I'm not quite done. There's still a few other things that I need to talk about with them because there is quite a lot here. That was basically just the lore. So, one thing I found kind of odd is their powers. Dutch Angel Dragons are magical beings in a way, and they have a whole lot of powers, and some of these aren't. They need to be more specific on what they are, but from what I'm reading here, let me just read off their abilities. Some of these are actually kind of crazy. Telekinesis, hydrokinesis, which is water bending basically, static electricity / lightning. I'm assuming that means that they can produce it and or control it. Apparently they can do stuff with time. Now, does this mean that they can move through time? Is time like a two-way street for them? Is it sort of a big pool that they can swim around wherever they want or whenever they want? Are they legit fourth dimensional beings where they can do anything they want with time? Can they only move through specific points in time? When you say that they have the ability of time, what does that exactly mean? Because that is such a huge spectrum. So I really want the creators of the Angel Dragons to expand on that. They can do stuff with alchemy. That is very, very vague. What kind of alchemy are we talking here? Like just being able to mutate matter a little bit, or is it something way more sinister or powerful? I'm thinking like Sith alchemy from Star Wars. That stuff is oh my lord. Dimension hopping. Now, again, what does that mean? What dimensions? I'm assuming they mean between the different realms. But again, that's left a little vague. Speed, strength, I'm assuming super speed, super strength. Obviously, I would imagine that these higher dimensional creatures, these creatures that have been around for a very long time that have these abilities, would be faster and stronger than basically anything that we could fathom. So these Dutch Angel Dragons are actually, if I'm going by this, I'm saying that they are fourth dimensional beings, and I don't even know their busting power. I don't know their durability. I don't know their stamina. But if they're at least fourth dimensional beings that can move through time, they're stronger than a lot of characters from fiction, which is nuts. But again, it's vague. And also there's just darkness, light, poison, fire, psychic, and gravity. I'm assuming they mean they can manipulate those. They can manipulate light. They have, of course, they would have psychic powers if they have telekinesis. Well, I guess in a way. Gravity manipulation, is that a thing? So they also have different breaths. Light breath, darkness breath. I don't know what that means. That is very vague. Electricity, I know what that means. They basically Godzilla. Well, no, his is plasma. Still same things. Electricity and plasma are pretty much, or basically the same thing. Fire, obviously, because dragon. Poison, again, vague. Ice, all right. Life, healing, so they can heal, obviously, because they are guardians. Death and decay. So, basically, when they say they have breath of death / decay, does that mean that whatever they breathe on rapidly ages and decays? Because that's terrifying. Does it mean that that they could make a sound that could just kill everything around them in one go? Like stop their heart, like the killing curse from Harry Potter? Good God. Again, it's vague. Stop being vague, authors. Make everything, make it concise. Sound, vibration / echolocation. So echolocation is just making a sound, it bounces off stuff, and you basically see with sound. That's what bats do. Bats aren't blind, they actually have great eyesight. They just can't see in the dark. That's why they use echolocation. So sound, does it mean that they can shout really, really loudly and basically do the canary cry from DC, from Black Canary? Can they do that? Probably. And then they have special / alien, or spatial. No, wait, spatial? How do you breathe space? Again, this is too vague. Their powers are too vague. And their elements are spirit, earth, fire, water, air, and metal. So, can they manipulate metal? That's pretty interesting. But like, again, I keep saying it. It's a little bit vague. Like, they really, really need to like expand on that. So the last thing I'm going to cover with the Dutch Angel Dragons are the abyssal Dutch Angel Dragons. So they are, like I said at the beginning, they are the exact opposite of Dutch Angel Dragons. While normal Dutch Angel Dragons are very caring, very loving, they could attach to people / objects, events, whatever, what have you, blah blah blah. That they are sweet and gentle souls, and that's just their nature. The abyssal Dutch Angel Dragon is the exact opposite. So it's really a yin and yang sort of thing. So now I'm kind of curious with the abyssal Dutch Angel Dragons. Can they be redeemed? Can they come back from the darkness? Is it possible? Is it possible for an abyssal duchy to come back and, not be a negative nexus? Actually, come back from all of that. I will say that I like the design of the Dutch Angel Dragons. I think they look really, really awesome. But the Abyssal Dutch Angel Dragons, these look cool. Like these are really, really cool. Um, they're really cool looking. They just speak to me, you know. So again, as I've explained with my, other species that I've covered, other fictional species, this is a furry species. But again, you could separate this completely from the furry fandom, and nothing about this would change. It would be the exact same thing. I could definitely see this being its own like animated series on YouTube or an anime or manga. Honestly, if the creator of the species Aino, I-N-O, I'm just gonna say telephone because it's basically her. Um, if she wants to make a full-blown comic series about the Dutch Angel Dragons, their history, everything like that, I think it would do very, very well because there is a lot of interesting things here. Also, another thing, Dutch Angel Dragons would rather not fight. They would rather just be chill, and I can definitely I can vibe with that. So essentially, that's the Dutch Angel Dragon. I was as brief as I could be with a lot of the important bullet points of this species. Again, there's a lot here. And I have not, seen this website get expanded much more. But I definitely would want them to expand it more. I would definitely want to also see a comic book series about the Dutch Angel Dragons, about their stories, their lore, the war itself, the conflict that separated them from paradise. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about the Abyssal Angel Dragons, and I want to learn if it's very possible. I assume it might be for an Abyssal Angel Dragon to actually come back, to actually reform into their previous self. Anyway, cool species. Definitely a very cool species. There's quite a few more species I could cover, but I'm still looking through what I could cover. But, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.